writings of people who have written about Kashmir, and there are Kashmiri people, Kashmiri Muslims have written about Kashmir, there are Kashmiri Pandits have written about Kashmir. If you read all the stories, they're great stories, but people don't read. But there are so many books about different perspective, and different perspective has to be there.
Right.
Everyone has to tell stories. Like in Real Kashmir Football Club, I am playing a Kashmiri Pandit, and in Baramulla, I am playing a Kashmiri Muslim. But they both have a gaze, which is kind of my gaze to life. I respect, I understand story, and I have empathy towards everything. And Sirish also is Pandit and gone through so much, but it's because of Mahesh, because of everyone, I could do so much. I discovered writing very late in my life. I was in Bombay, and I was trying to be an actor, and I realized that I'm not enjoying this. And I started leaving things. I left acting. I was just throwing everything off. Like, the things I don't enjoy, I don't want to do it. My dreams start from Hoshangabad and goes to Baramulla, Khojabad. But I feel that because I'm born in Kashmir, I grew up in Hoshangabad, and then I lived in Bombay. The spectrum is huge, and I feel that my stories are different because of the life I have lived.
Hello friends, today we have the versatile Manav Kaul with us to talk about his upcoming OTT series, the Real Kashmir Football Club. Manav, welcome to the Hindu.
Thank you so much.
Please tell me, we have a number of films on how football plays a role. We earlier had Inshallah Football, then we had a documentary on the same club. What is the value addition with this new series?
I think because I like fiction, and there is a fictional element which Mahesh and Simab and everyone has put it in and made it a very interesting series out of that real story. So I feel that fiction plays a very interesting part, that you can also talk about the club. You can also talk about the two people who have involved and started the club. But at the same time, you can also talk about the different stories of Kashmir. So it becomes like a complete story of almost 13-14 people and their lives. So I feel that fiction is the only way you can spin this and can do this. So that's why I like the series a lot.
Right. You have been a sports person. So please tell us how this character shaped up and your association with the sports, and how did you kind of relate with this particular series and the character?
I think, first of all, I had nothing to do with football. And I had no idea that there was like this Real Kashmir Football Club, RKFC, was in existence. So when I got to know through the script, then I did my research, and I realized that it's such a stunning story, and I had no idea why people haven't done anything about this. And I was very, very pleased and very excited to be part of this. And I told Mahesh sir that give me any role, I will do this. And also because when you're part of one sport, you understand the sport per se. There is a sportsman spirit, they call it. So I understand sports. I understand how winning is important for the team, and the team sports has this quality that makes you a very better human being. I think the reason I think I like sports person is sports teaches you to how to lose. How to lose well. And in life, when you don't know how to lose well, there is a huge problem.
Right. You have been kind of in the last 2-3 what we have seen is that you have done recently Baramulla, and before that you had a book called Roo, which which dealt with your life in Kashmir. So before that you did Ghoul, that was also in Kashmir. So how do you kind of relate with this your association with Kashmir? You were born in Baramulla, and then so how this association with Kashmir? Please talk about that.
I think First of all, I know I somehow I people give me these stories first of all, but I've been very lucky in a way that I got this opportunity like Real Kashmir Football Club, because this is the kind of Kashmir and stories I really want to say, and also in Ru, it has been in my head that I should write something completely about Kashmir, because when my father passed away and I had a huge, a kind of vacuum, a void, that I felt that I need to talk about my father, and I can't talk about my father without talking about Kashmir. So at times I had no idea when I was talking about Kashmir it was my father, or when I was talking about my father was it Kashmir. And I find that complex situation very intriguing. So I went after 27 years. I took that journey to just go to the place where I was born, Baramulla, Khwajabagh, and I just started writing because I had no idea at that time that I had so much in me that I can write an entire book out of this whole experience. But to my surprise, I realized that I actually had so much, and and then I started just writing and writing, and it came as a book form, and I had to call it Roo. And apart from that, because I find this particular series very interesting, because when I met Mahesh and Killian is the producer, they both had read Roo. And then they had this, they come and meet me, and I like that so much that people who want me to be part of the series, they have read the book I have written about Kashmir. So so that's why I feel very touched, and I thought that this is the approach, and also this is the series which is like, as an actor, I feel that filmmaking and series making is a very collaborative effort. So that Killian is not only a producer, he was a creative producer. He was part of the creative team. At the same time, Mahesh, at the same time, Swimab. So everyone was completely part of the creative process of the making this series. And that is a collaborative where people used to discuss, we used to stop and shoot. And so I find that very, very exciting.
So now that Kashmir is in news and you have kind of experienced it, so how is it for you as an actor to keep a balance between the person you are and the opinions that you have, and playing these characters which come from different perspectives?
I mean, but still, there is an kind of empathy. There is a kind of perspective I bring to all the characters I play. Like in Real Kashmir Football Club, I am playing a Kashmiri Pandit, and in Baramulla, I am playing a Kashmiri Muslim. But they both have a gaze which is kind of my gaze to life. I respect, I understand story, and I have empathy towards everything. And Sirish also is Pandit and gone through so much, but it's because of Mahesh, because of everyone, I could do so much in the series, because they were such amazing human being.
Right, he's not bitter about.
Because you can't be, because that's so. The thing is that as a human race, you've been historically you've been part of so many atrocities. So how you deal with it, and how you respect life, and how you respect others, it is what I feel that is the crux of the story.
Right, because like in Ghoul, they try to present it as if it was a sin of one community that is kind of coming back to hit them. And in Baramulla, it's the other way around, that they are paying for what they kind of didn't see coming. So where is the right thing? Is it somewhere in between, or?
But I think why can't we just say different perspective stories, like start from Ghoul to Baramulla to Real Kashmir Football Club, and also other stories. If you read writings of people who have written about Kashmir, and there are Kashmiri people, Kashmiri Muslims have written about Kashmir, there are Kashmiri Pandits have written about Kashmir. If you read all the stories, they're great stories, but people don't read. But there are so many books about different perspective, and different perspective has to be there.
Right.
Everyone has to tell stories.
Now tell us about this shift of yours at a young age from Baramulla to Hoshangabad. How was life like, and how did you kind of get into this writing habit? You started as a swimmer, and then you swamped into a different kind of channel altogether.
I think I discovered writing very late in my life. I was in Bombay, and I was trying to be an actor, and I realized that I'm not enjoying this, and I started leaving things. I left acting. I was just throwing everything off, like the things I don't enjoy. I don't want to do it. And eventually, I discovered that actually I can actually write something interesting. So then I wrote Shakkar ke Paanch Dane. But talking about Baramulla to Hoshangabad shift, because at that time in Baramulla, the Hoshangabad, the small town world life for a kid is amazing. And I got like a river at that time, at that age, and I was fascinated by the river because I haven't seen a river like this now. So it was all a lot of fun. And eventually when I left Hoshangabad, I realized that I miss Kashmir and Hoshangabad in the same breath. Like, I understand Khojabad and Hoshangabad. It's almost like a same space. So whenever I dream, my dreams start from Hoshangabad and goes to Baramulla, Khojabad. But I feel that because I'm born in Kashmir, I grew up in Hoshangabad, and then I lived in Bombay. The spectrum is huge, and I feel that my stories are different because of the life I have lived.
Yeah, your stories are very personal as well as kind of universal in the same.
But I feel that you have. But I've been. Whatever I've read, I like those writers whose stories and novels and plays sounds very personal to me, but it's fiction.
For instance,
like our conversation.
Yeah.
If I write about the experience of this conversation, it is going to be fiction because your participation is not there. So my point is, whatever you write, like history is actually fictional account, and I find fiction makes you say things which you can't say in autobiography.
Right.
So I find fiction amazing. Fiction can, in fiction you can do so much.
Still, we find your representation of us very invasive. Your eye is very close to us. That's the beauty of the writing.
I think that's what I like. Like people have seen my play called Trasdi, which is about my mother's death.
Right.
But my mother has seen like all 8 or 10 shows, and every time people come and say, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss," and I say, "Please meet my mother. She has seen so many." So people don't understand that it is a craft which I like, which sounds very personal, but it is also fiction, and it is my craft as a writer.
But then, how did you find your voice?
I say things, everything, because the moment my mother in Trasti is atheist, and I could say everything about atheism through my mother.
Right.
But if I say anything about atheism through like I am saying it, people will get offended. But because my mother is saying, nobody gets offended.
Right. Now recently, She and Hers has come out.
Yeah.
And, please talk about that.
She and Hers is a gaze, like I think in my life, because I come from a small town and I understand sex, sexuality and different sex. My understanding was very, very bad, and I had regret about that, and I also feel guilty because you don't understand other sex. You don't understand people who are like same sex, when they practice same sex. So I thought I should write about that whole world. But then I had to read a lot because in India we don't have stories about love. As per the word love means about two like lesbian love or gay love. So I started reading. Then I got like some like I read the Well of Loneliness, which was I find it like the first in 1940s. It has been written, the novel, and then of course Orlando and other books, Sappho, and then I started weaving the story of She and Hers, and eventually I think that that's one of the very important writing I have done, and I hope people read it and they understand what I'm trying to say.
Right. When you entered this theatre world, there was kind of a giants of theatre there, and you broke that mold of that what we can say in generic terms old theatre by bringing in that sparseness, that individualism of theatre, and kind of cutting through that melodramatic shift and that protest theatre that was happening. Please talk to us about that. How was the kind of response from the old world, and then how did you find your space there?
I think
because you watched Habib Tanveer.
Of course.
So how was this?
I mean, I love Habib Sahib because the reason I started my theatre is because of Habib Sahib.
Right.
I saw Mudra Rakshas and I said, damn, what a play! I need to do theatre. But then I worked with Alok Chatterjee, then I worked with Satyajit Dubey and everyone. And then I realized that I come from my theatre comes from literature rather than theatre. So I like literature and I like stories, and my gaze is very childlike, and I find that very interesting. That whenever I used to see plays, and I used to think that ये ऐसा क्यों नहीं कर देते ये लोग ऐसा क्यों नहीं करते हैं? Why they have to be so like theatrical about it? They can talk to the audience. They can just say, hi, I'm here to just
breaking the wall,
or they should do something, because in theatre, I think because there is a limitation, you can do anything in theatre. But I'll say that मैं नदी किनारे खड़ा था, and you will see the river. I don't need to show the river,
Right.
And I find that idea of theatre very, very attractive. And then I started writing plays about things I can, talk to the audience, and I could have a scene which is very real. I could have a silence. I could have I wrote a play called Red Sparrow, which was my kind of homage to all the writers I love. And I thought that वो बिल्कुल ही मतलब मेरा वो fan boy moment था when I thought that Bukowski and Verma is playing chess, and let's see what happens. And there is Kafka also, there is Vinod Kumar Shukla, there is everyone in the play. But I think that because I come from experimental theatre, and I thought I take this word very seriously, experiment, and I want to experiment. And in experiment, 50% chances are you're going to fail, and I don't mind that. I don't want to write a great play or good play or a successful play. I want to write something which is experimental, and Trasdi is like a form of complete experiment.
Yep. And then in this journey, you had a kind of a very strong partner in Kumud Mishra.
Yeah.
Please talk to us about that. How that partnership happened, Park, etc.
I mean, Kumud और मैं हम दोनों we were going through a very lull phase of our life. Like he was searching for good scripts. He was searching for a kind of voice, which now in retrospect I can talk about that. But that time I was like, we need to do something. So I wrote Shakar ke Panch Dane play for him, and thank goodness he said yes. And then we formed a kind of partnership, a friendship, and I did my like 7 or 8 plays with him, one after the other, and it's also kind of like complimenting him as an actor, as a friend, and और ऐसा मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि when you are working with the same person again and again, it's very difficult for you to surprise him every time you bring a script. So it was my challenge. So I was improving because of that. And then we did Ilham, we did Bali Aur Shambhu, we did Haath Ka Hai Shunya. There are so many plays I've written for him. So I find that whole partnership kind of that's my theatre, and that's our theatre, like Kumud and us, and I am a better human being because of him, I guess.
And from the outside, we felt that you too also carried an artistic ego towards Hindi cinema, and you said a lot of kind of rejected a lot of roles or refused a lot of roles, and then there came a phase. I guess Hindi cinema also changed, and you kind of found a meeting ground.
There was no ego because first of all, I feel that I was in a journey, and it's not that I wanted, I wanted certain roles and Hindi cinema is not giving me those roles. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. My point was I wasn't ready and I was a bad actor. And eventually I learned through direction and through writing, a little bit of acting, and also directing such amazing actors like Kumar Mishra and everyone. I learned acting through that process. और अभी मैं करता हूँ एक्टिंग, पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि ओह नाउ आई एम गेटिंग, ऐसा है कि आई एम डूइंग सो मेनी थिंग्स इन बिटवीन. आई एक्ट, sometimes I travel, sometimes I write, sometimes it's
you're juggling lot of balls together.
But also I don't take anything seriously. I want to live a very entertaining life, and that's what I'm pursuing, nothing else. In process of living that kind of life, I am I'm writing a play, I'm writing a book, I'm traveling a lot, and that's it.
But what are those satisfying roles that you have found?
I forget things very easily. So the moment I do the role, I don't remember what I have done. So when you talk about Baramulla and Ghul and then I remember हाँ वो भी मैंने किया. पर ऐसा कुछ याद रहता नहीं है.
हाँ, you have supported a lot of strong female female characters also.
I mean, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि it was the film, like तुम्हारे सुलू was an amazing film. Ajeeb Dastan was an amazing story, and I was part of that whole thing. And I think acting is something that you try to bring, or you try to surprise, or you try to give options to the director, and the director will pick eventually.
But like you travel a lot.
Yeah.
So how do you this balancing is happening? You travel, you write. There are travelogues. There is you've been keeping the two sides separate, quite.
Because I mostly travel solo, so it's very interesting that I go for like 2 months, 3 months somewhere, and I have nothing else to do than write, and I don't travel like. But to a touristic place. Mostly I travel to a secluded places where you find less and less human beings. That's it. And then I sit in a cafe and I don't know what else to do than write and read. And that's how I started writing a lot, because I started traveling a lot. And I find traveling very therapeutic. And in process of my travels, I sometimes write some books.
But you travel out. And then you find something inside. That's the
because I think visual changes everything. When you are in a country where the food is different, the language is different, everything is different. You react differently, and that different reaction is the book. I write.
Right. And this balance is happening organically, or you're making an effort?
I was traveling when I had no money also. So traveling I found very early in my life, and I thought that it's so interesting. It makes you light, and you are more interested in other people rather than always interested in you. So it makes you I think better human being.
And these translations, are you finding a new audience, new readership with this?
I have no idea, but
because whenever you come to Delhi, or you find a lot of readership that comes to your plays, and a lot of people. You have a separate kind of audience for your cinema, and or they overlap.
I think that youth is amazing in India. They are reading a lot, and I think because they read some, I think as a reader also, I always search for something different to read, and I think because I'm reading a lot of contemporary literature, I can bring certain new voices in literature which I write, and I think they're liking that, I guess, because that's
like that shirt ka teesra button
is
a kind of.
Yeah, it's something I love to experiment. So I thought that there is a character called Raskolnikov in Dostoevsky, and Chitralekha Bhagavajan Verma की किताब है. तो I thought चित्रलेखा अगर रस्कोल्निकोव को लेटर लिखे और रस्कोल्निकोव जवाब दे, कितना मजा आएगा. I wanted to read that kind of a novel, and then I wrote that kind of novel. Yes.
Fine. So what is coming up now in terms of writing as well as this?
Writing
And
में
you are a director as well. After Hansa, we haven't seen anything.
I've just directed a film
अच्छा.
called Jolly Joker.
Okay.
And अभी वो editing करूँगा, देखूँगा क्या होता है.
किस बारे में?
3 writers. It's based on one of my novel called साक्षात्कार.
Okay.
So I've just directed that film. Kumud is also in part of that film. I can't work without Kumud, I know. And और अभी एक नई किताब आने वाली है कौतुक नाम की. So I'm excited about that book.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.